morning. I should put this a little bit closer to us so they can hear us. How was everybody's Easter?
Gosh, man, this bubble. I always have this. I call those my devil horns. Because they're always sticking up.
Good morning.
How was your guys' Easter? If you celebrate Easter, did you have a good Easter? If you don't celebrate, did you have a good weekend?
Did you have a good Easter?
I did. I ate way more food than I needed to. And my mom made lemon meringue pie, which, if you do not know, is my favorite. And it makes my heart very happy. I cleaned my house on Saturday, so it's clean. And I don't know, I use my weekends. Like, I typically use Saturday as like a refresh. So I like to get my house clean, do all the laundry, all the dishes, and then
Everything you couldn't get done in the middle of the week?
especially with 2 kids, it makes it difficult. But yeah, what about you? What'd you do? Sorry, mute button.
Did my taxes. Nothing like last minute.
Yeah, aren't they like due like what, the 18th?
Today.
Oh
Today.
my gosh.
I did my taxes this weekend.
Sometimes I wonder why we're friends, because
I'm usually
that's not okay.
That's very unlike me. I've just had a lot going on. Usually they're done like as soon as I'm able to, but it's been a interesting Q1. Someone said they're eating Easter candy for breakfast.
Yes, it's the best day ever.
I think someone said hello from
Oh, your
Pennsylvania.
favorite pie? Yes, lemon meringue pie is so good. It's kind of old-fashioned too. I feel like that's not something people really make or eat anymore, and I love it too. So peri, I'm glad we have the same taste.
Someone said hello from Maine. It was a lovely chilly Easter.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cold here this week in Ohio. It's actually, you guys might hear the rain again today. It was downpouring this morning when I came in. It's lightened up a little bit, but if you guys hear something that sounds like we're about to just have an explosion where we're at, it's
Angel says it's raining in Chillicothe
yeah,
too.
it's really bad right now, and it's chilly. Like,
It's supposed to snow today. I'm not even kidding you. They said no accumulation, but they said we could probably see some snow flurries. And if you have not checked the Ohio forecast for this weekend, it is going to be 78 degrees. So snow on Monday and 80 degrees this weekend.
yeah, I saw it was supposed to be 80, but that's like Friday.
I feel like a weatherman.
Yeah, this is a weather channel, if you guys didn't know.
Reselling weather channel. Yes, it snowed in my corner of Ohio yesterday. Yeah, I don't understand, but I mean, it's Ohio, so we're supposed to have the unexpected, right? So.
Well, I've got some things to talk about. I thought we would go back to things that we stopped doing that made us better resellers, or things that maybe we started doing, kind of a newbie versus an experienced reseller kind of thing. We touched on it a couple lives ago, but never got to finish. So I thought we would talk about that real quick today. Just some tips or some things that you might consider changing if you haven't already. But let's first wrap up last week. I have not put a what sold from last week video out yet, but I will say that I calculated our numbers and we are still over $4,000 for the week. So it's been pretty awesome. And as we said during, last live, it really turned out to be a great week. So happy with that. And we have a lot to do today. Actually this whole week, prepping for a new person starting. And then we've got a lot of great listings to put up. So
it was great ending the week with that spa day. Like,
yeah,
it was just
it was the cherry on top.
Yeah,
it was
so
nice.
We
I feel relaxed and ready to tackle this week now.
Me too. Yep.
All right.
This says Arizona. It's supposed to be 97 degrees today. So
I used to live in Arizona.
I'm kind of jelly. Yeah, I could do some 97. Although I'd want it to be the dry 97, not the like humid, suffocating 97.
It's dry. Yeah. I liked Arizona.
It
gets a little too hot sometimes.
Yeah, I say that, but then I think about 97. I'm like, maybe not. I was talking about processes from last week, things that you shouldn't do or stop doing. And this is kind of on trend with that, but not really. But what I was thinking is stop trying to do all of your eBay shipping in one run. So I had a bunch this morning. I think I had like 40 alone on just eBay, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it is when you have like 5 black Athleta pants. So one thing I started doing is splitting it into batches and doing like so many at a time. I just fill the table in a run and then do it. I don't know. That's just
Like
something
10
else.
at a time.
Yeah, I try to do them like 10 or 15 or 20, whatever it is I can fit on the table. I try to round it up to like the next 10 and then
That's a good
move
point.
on. That's something else you guys may think of too.
That kind of wraps in with one tip that I have, which is if you're not already using bulk features. I
Yes.
think that a lot of times newer resellers do everything one by one, and that's because they're trying not to mess up. But once you get to a point where you're comfortable, make sure you're using bulk features like bulk shipping. If you're on eBay, use your bulk shipping. There's bulk shipping on Poshmark, but like she said, take it batch by batch, because once you start getting too many, we had 41 on eBay today. That becomes a lot to ship all at once and not get confused. So do it batch by batch, but it really does save a lot of time. When you started, you didn't really do anything one by one, but I don't know if you've ever done it, but it's a lot.
I hate it.
It's a lot slower to do shipping
Yeah.
one by one on both eBay and Poshmark.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to just kind of take it as a bulk whole chunk of everything at a time. I have had to do occasionally like one by one, or if I need to add like shipping protection or whatever, I would do them one by one. But there's so many like extra random things on there that you don't even need to pay attention to, that it honestly looks more overwhelming to me than what it does just doing it in bulk.
I agree.
I have to say good morning to Lisa because our hype girl has just joined our video.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Lisa.
Whoever put that question with the big circle, I don't see it on here yet, but whoever put it with the big circle, that is so helpful. If you put like that big red circle and like question spelled out, I noticed that literally from clear back here. So
we'll get to questions in just a minute. We'll get through these tips. So if you guys do have questions, go ahead and drop those in the comments and we'll start tackling those here in a few minutes. Talking about bulk features, it's not just shipping, it's also sending offers. You can send bulk offers on eBay. If you haven't done that already, it saves a ton of time. We just personally do a 10% off offer, so we do kind of a blanket offer that we know we're going to send, that we're comfortable with in regards to our pricing. So I just send out a blanket 10% off on eBay. Some other bulk features is Poshmark just came out with bulk sharing. We personally use Posh or VA, so I don't use that option, but I do know if you're still sharing yourself, definitely want to use the bulk action because it cuts your clicks in half if you're still doing it manually. Some other things that I thought I would mention that just kind of popped in my head that I used to do as a newer reseller and that I no longer do is I used to just take photos in the default setting on my phone. And to me, that's the wrong way to do it because on every platform, a square photo is going to be like your thumbnail. So even if you take your photo in a rectangle format, I think it's like 16 by 9, then you're still going to get that picture shrunk in your thumbnail in a square format. So you're going to cut off part of the picture. So you might as well just go ahead and take your photos in square mode if you're not already. You want to show them?
Sure.
There's a setting on your phone. Now we have Android, but it should also be a setting on your iPhone. So if you're not already taking your photos in square mode, you can... Hey everybody.
Oh, you can see our faces again.
I don't know if they can even see. There's a little button up here. It's like the third one in. It says 1 by 1. But here's your choices. Oh. Here's your choices. You've got, it went away. Bad idea on my part. There's all your choices. You want to make sure you're in the 1 by 1, which is your square mode. And then you want to take your photos like that. Also really great for social media. Same thing. Everything shows up in a square mode format. So if you're not already doing that, would highly recommend changing your setting on your phone to square mode. And it's honestly those little tweaks that you don't think about that make a big difference on your listings. So if you're not already using square mode, highly recommend doing that. And then the other thing I think about is just overthinking too much or trying to add too much fluff to stuff, especially on Poshmark. I know a lot of us are packaging with like tons of pretty wrapping paper, or we are using really nice poly mailers. For me, I've never been that person. I always want to use the cheapest thing, which we're getting supplies free from USPS. And ever since we transitioned from adding all of that fluff, we no longer use thank you cards. We do use thank you stickers. They're not customized though, they just say thank you. Ever since we started using to a more simplified method of packaging, we have not noticed a difference in sales. In fact, it's actually, our sales have increased, but I think that's just because of listing.
Well, and you save time too on each item.
Yeah.
So before we were putting a card in every single item. But then the other thing we had to pay attention to was what was listed as a gift, what wasn't listed as a gift. Now I don't have to pay attention to that. I just slap a thank you sticker on everything to make sure that the packaging is closed and move on, which again saves time. The other thing, talking about overthinking things in general, is we hired a new photographer, and she was trying to get pretty specific on decorating shoes in fun ways, and I had to be like, look, this is not just put it on there. We want them all to look the same. Just throw it on the piece of white paper and move on. So it saves you time. That's the biggest thing about overthinking things.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know about you, but I overthought a lot when I started reselling. And what I learned just over time, if you're going to take advice from somebody who's seasoned at it, is looking back, I wish I would have not have slowed down and overthought a lot, because now, because of all the overthinking I did and all of the extra details in our processes, we are now going backwards and trying to cut out processes, and we're trying to be more simplified so that we can get more done. And honestly, practice makes perfect. The more you keep going with something, like taking photos, the better at it you're going to get, and the more refined you're going to get. But overthinking things too much can be really detrimental sometimes, because I think for instance, and I'm not calling anybody out, but I had somebody comment, a few people actually, how to find style names of certain brands that we don't look up. I think one of them was Banana Republic, and they were like, I'm looking up the style numbers on the tag, but I can't figure it out how to pull up the style name. And I'm thinking, we don't look up the style name on Banana Republic, and I just personally have never thought about doing that. And I was like, well, that's just kind of overthinking it a little bit. Like, I don't know that Banana Republic buyers are really looking for a specific style. We just describe it and we move on. Now, there are certain brands that we do that with, like Lululemon, Anthropologie pieces. I think buyers are looking for a style name on that, but if you're looking for a style name on every single item, you're probably wasting a lot of time, because your buyers are not looking for those. Just describe it, move on, quit overthinking it.
Yep.
Those were all the tips that I had.
Okay.
We got questions?
We do. We're going to go with Raina first. If you had to start building your business from scratch all over, what would you focus on mainly? I'm assuming you mean like what category, or I'm not sure if you mean category or if you're meaning like what part of the business?
If I had to start over from scratch, I also don't know if they're talking about a platform. Maybe can clarify that for us, Raina. But I would say that I would focus, I'm just going to cover everything. I would start on eBay because it has the most users. I would figure out that platform first. That way I could get my sales rolling. I would focus on one category. It would probably be jeans or shoes in the men's department. And then I would focus on a high sell-through rate. And as just a blanket statement, if I'm just answering that in general, one of the biggest issues when I first started was I didn't check sell-through rate. So if I had to say one thing I would focus on, it would just overall be focusing on 100% sell-through rate or more. And I wish I would have done that from the very beginning, because it has made the biggest difference in my business.
I scrolled down because I was waiting to see if she added us more comments. So Cece Lovelace Gray said she could use a video on bulk shipping or bulk features. So maybe that'd be something that we could think of doing a YouTube video, unless you have one.
I feel like I've peppered it in certain videos, but we don't have just a video about Poshmark shipping. I don't know that I could make a whole video because I don't think it would be long enough. But it's essentially, you go to your sales, you click the actions button, and you hit
not shipped. Well, you don't go to action, you go to
filter to not shipped.
Yep, not shipped, and then you go to action and do download shipping labels, and then there's a nice little like select all button at the top. you can click like a little open square.
You click all the ones you haven't shipped yet, or you can be selective, and then you hit OK, and it sends you all of your labels in one PDF to your email address, and then you just print those, compare them to the usernames, and then slap them on. It's super easy.
That's my favorite thing. Like, if I could just ship everything in just Poshmark, you literally just throw it in something. It doesn't even matter what it is. And then you just download all, print, and slap it on your package. If only eBay could be that easy.
I would love that.
On eBay, you mentioned on your What Sold videos that you send offers to watchers, and I can't for the life of me find that feature. Please help. I've never looked at this in my life, and I can tell you literally at lunch the other day, I was like, man, is this really complicated? And she was like, hold up, watch this. And it was legitimately 2 seconds.
If I was logged in, I would show you right now, but all you do is you go to your seller hub, which you get to that by, I think you have to have a certain subscription on eBay, but at the top of your screen, are we logged in?
I'm going to look.
Nikki's going to log in for us so that I can actually show you. But I'll just tell you before I actually show you. At the top of your screen, there's going to say something that says sell. If you click sell, it's going to take you to your seller hub. Then you go to your listings. It's going to take you to your active listings. Then there's a bunch of filters at the bottom. They say things like stuff you can add best offer to, stuff that needs required item specifics. Do you want to do it? Yeah.
I'll be your Vanna White. You tell me what you want me to
talk to her.
Tell me what you want me to show.
So she's on our seller hub now.
Oh, I can't see. It's fine. We're going to get closer.
Woo! She's on our seller hub. And then we're going to go to listings.
So you see the listings here.
And then we're going to scroll down to those bubbles. And we're going to hit, I just sent them out, so who knows if they're there, but send offers eligible. Is there any?
Yes, there's 6. You'll see it here. Can you see this?
So you're going to click on that bubble.
Send offers eligible. There's only 6 available because she just did these, but.
And then you're going to hit the check all box. And you're going to hit send offers.
I'm doing this so backwards.
It might be backwards, guys. Sorry. And then there's a spot for you to do your 10% off. Now, listen, if you hit that and there's only one and you put 10 in it, it'll send it for $10. So make sure you're seeing a percentage amount.
10% plus shipping.
And then you can put a custom message. We're just going to leave it as that for now. And then you scroll to the bottom and you just hit send offers. And you're done.
I know that's backwards,
So
but
easy.
that was my quickest way to at least show you where the buttons were so you could see them. It is pretty cut and dry. Honestly, I think once you hit that option of send offers eligible, the rest of it just asks you the percentage or the dollar that you want to do off of everything, and then you can select certain ones or change them as you need to or do all of them as you go. But it's seriously so easy.
I have the eBay app on my phone, and I'm constantly doing things throughout the day. If I can get them done on the run, I'm gonna do it. That way I don't have so much to do when I get back to the office. And one of those things I like to do is, even though I have the app, you have to do this part on the desktop. I like to have Chrome open and leave eBay in the desktop version on my Chrome app on my phone.
Me too.
And then I leave it on that active listings page with the send offers filtered. And that way, every time I open up that page, it refreshes. And all I have to do is click the checkbox to select all, send offer, 10% send. And I do that like a few times throughout the day because we're always having new watchers. And I like to send them out pretty much as soon as I can. So that's one way that I just kind of keep up with it. But you do have to do it on the desktop version. You can still do it on your phone. It just can't be through the eBay app. And maybe that's the reason that you weren't finding it.
I'm going to take this one. It says, how do you handle pinhole damage from the tagging guns? Pass, disclose, is it too small to care? So, one, that's super annoying, and we deal with it literally all the time. So, we kind of have 2 things that we look at. If it's something that's just like an everyday item that's not really worth anything extra, we just pass. If it's something that would be like a high dollar item that you could still sell even with like another regular normal hole in it, we might still pick it up and disclose it. But it would have to be something that had a really great sell-through rate and a really good return price, even with it having some damage to it.
An example would be like an Everlane cashmere sweater.
Yep.
I know we've got Everlane cashmere sweaters with holes in them before because we know we can still sell them.
If it's something that you're concerned about, I would always tell you just to pass on it. Just because what if you get it and you can't pass, or you can't sell it and now you're stuck with it? You might end up having to take a really low offer on something like that, or even potentially even less than what you paid for it. Sometimes they are small. The fabric material does matter too. If you have them, like obviously in a sweater, 9 times out of 10, the sweater's just going to kind of like remold back over top and you'll never notice it. If you, linen is one thing we run into a lot. Anything that's linen that has the tagging holes in them, you really can't get rid of those. They don't expand over top of, so we would skip on a lot of those.
Lisa's hyping us up. We have 71 people watching, which is awesome, and only 31 likes. So if you guys haven't already, take 1 second and hit the like button. It's a free way to essentially help out our channel, tip us essentially in a free way that only takes a second and helps get this video to other people.
I don't know who was the first like, but I tried to make it me this morning and it was not me. So
you beat her.
Whoever you are, you beat me. Hi ladies, I tried your cross post on eBay last night, woke up with a sale, but says waiting for buyer to pay. That same buyer messaged me to text them on a mobile number. Scam. What would you do?
You're right, first of all.
Good job noticing it.
So I'll just say for everyone listening, because people might not know what you're talking about, she is talking about on eBay, which eBay has this, I'm not going to get into it, but they have essentially a way for a buyer to commit to buying an item. There's a 2-step process. They hit buy, but then there's another process where they have to actually pay for the item. So sometimes people will do the buy process, but they won't actually end up paying for it, and it'll show up in awaiting payment.
This happens so often.
It happens very often. But we just got a seller update, the spring seller update. This seller update and then the last one, eBay is working on that. They're working on it to be just like Poshmark essentially. When somebody buys something, someone said, okay, I smashed that like button.
I know, I saw that. I was like, woo, go Perry.
Yeah, thank you. But they're working on that. I'll just say that. Now, in your case, you're stuck in kind of limbo. If anyone, this is regardless of your situation, whether it's waiting in payment or they haven't bought it yet, or even if they've paid for it, no matter what, on any platform, if somebody tries to contact you outside of the platform, absolutely a scam. Do not do it. Don't even respond to them. If it were me in that situation, I would probably try to report the buyer. Either way, you're probably going to have to wait a couple days for it to almost flag an item not paid. And then after a couple days, it'll give you the option to cancel the order. We have it set to automatically cancel after I think 2 business days of non-payment. The scary thing with that is, and this actually, thank you, because you just reminded me, you have to go back right now and relist them after they cancel, which it used to do it for you. It does not anymore. At least I can't figure out a way. I haven't done that in a while. So I need to go back and I need to get those items.
Thank you for your reminder this morning.
But I would wait a couple days. I would go to, you can get to the item awaiting payment by hovering over orders and going to awaiting payment. You can see all of them that you're waiting for and just kind of keep an eye on that. Eventually you'll be able to cancel that order and the reason will be item not paid for. And it won't ding your account or anything like that because it wasn't you. And then you'll have to get the item relisted. It really sucks being in that limbo where you can't sell the item, but that's the way it's got to be done for right now.
Posh is dead for me the past weeks, I guess, from $6,000 a month to barely $1,000, about to throw in the towel. First things, don't throw in the towel. Yeah. The best thing you can do is just, Cayley's probably tired of me saying this, stay the course. Whatever you have to do, no matter what blows up in your face, just stay the course.
Just keep swimming, as Dory said.
Just keep swimming.
Just keep listing.
Yeah, you just gotta stick with it.
A lot of people have been experiencing that on Poshmark when they had their algorithm changes. For us, it helped. I don't know what happened. Like, I have not looked into it or tested it, but what?
I'm thinking about all those referral codes that happened after. Legitimately, like, I would wake up in the morning and when I'm not even exaggerating, it would be like 25 referral codes. Like so-and-so, and my phone just kept rant.
I've had a lot of referrals lately. Yeah. But as far as sales go, our sales have been pretty good. I will say that even on eBay, another platform, strangely enough, this past year, or was it this year, we had a $0 sales day. That hasn't happened to me in like 2 years. We had a $0 sales day. I know we're comparing days to months, weeks, months, but I'll just say that it is a roller coaster. It does come back. And if you're really worried about having all your eggs in one basket, consider getting on List Perfectly. Consider starting to cross post onto other platforms, because for me, it helps balance. When Poshmark was really dead, eBay's picking back up. We only had 9 on Poshmark this morning, but 41 on eBay.
It seems like they are completely opposites. Like when we have a bad day on Poshmark, it seems like eBay blows it out of the water. If we have a slower day on eBay, it seems like Posh blows it out of the water. So it may be worth cross posting some of your things on eBay. You've already got them listed. It's not going to take you super long to cross post those over. You've already done the pictures and the work. It might be worth it, especially since even if you did decide you wanted to throw on the towel and be done, you probably want to unload a lot of that stuff online as well. But don't
do that. I will say too, just to prepare everyone listening, if this is your first time selling this year, just realize that we're about to move into a very slow period of sales. We're moving into the summer slowdown, and so I personally expect also over the next couple of weeks for sales to completely tank. In summer slowdown time, typically for me at least, my sales will half. I mean, they will half. So, we're doing $4,000 this week. Summer slowdown, if we do nothing differently, we'll probably have only $2,000 each week that's coming in sales. We're combating that by listing more or bringing in higher ASP items. So we're combating that a little bit, but just typically, historically, my sales half. And then once we get back to Q4, they like triple. So it all evens out, but it can be very discouraging. But after some time, you'll see that it does come back around.
Stay the course.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through more about how you settle on a price for each piece? Comps, are you conservative compared to others? Start high, willing to lower, etc.
Old Soul Picker, we just did a live, was it 2 or 3 ago? If you look at my live playlist on my channel, or just go to my channel and look at the most recent videos, there's one that is a live Q&A, pricing strategies. If you watch that video, we go really in depth, but essentially we try to focus on 100% sell-through rate. We're very detailed when we search. If it is 100% sell-through rate, we price at market, what the average of what everybody else is pricing for. If it is lower than 100% sell-through rate, we price lower than everybody else to get the item moving. If it is over 100% sell-through rate, sometimes we'll price at market or a little bit higher because we know the sell-through rate is so high. That's it in short, but if you want a more detailed explanation, watch that Q&A titled Pricing Strategies.
Would you consider bids to pick up your sales? No, I would not. I would say
bids.
If your sales are dropping, maybe price your things a little bit lower. So like if you're noticing, I don't know, we'll say you just have like a Free People shirt that's going for $24, maybe market at $22. Not significantly lower, but by putting yourself at kind of the bottom of that market, you might potentially sell this faster. Also, a lot of it's like the quality of your photos. Are you including measurements? Are you giving them all the details, the sizes, the materials, so on and so forth? But as far as like summer, especially going into like summer slowdown, I would not go to auction just because your sales will lessen.
When it comes to sales and pricing items, we're not very trigger happy on if we're not having sales one a week, sending out like a ton of offer. I mean, I might be willing to accept offers that are a little bit lower, but as far as just completely dropping my prices, going along with what we just said, stay the course. We do understand that it's a roller coaster, but it's always going to come back up. If you drop your prices every time you're having a bad sales week, you're going to probably tank your store. So we're never very trigger happy on dropping prices as far as, you know, we're having one bad week or something like that.
Yeah, the other thing you want to think of too is, you know, you might want to get a little bit more restrictive. Going into summer slowdown, we talked about getting things that are higher ASP. The other thing you want to look at is higher sell-through rates. So stop buying things that are at 75% sell-through rate, at 90% sell-through rate. Go for things that are like 150%, that are over guaranteed listed. And that way you know for sure, like, whatever you're picking up is something that is 100% trendy right now, and you know that people have that desired search for it, and you're more likely to sell those things.
Something a lot of people don't really talk about or discuss in the reseller community, I feel like, is if you fill your store with low sell-through rate items and then only a couple high sell-through rate items, you're telling eBay, because you're not having sales, you're telling eBay that you're filling it with undesirable items. So even though you might be sourcing, you know, you have a goal of a quantity of, let's say you want to list 50 this week. If you fill your store with 50 items of stuff that are not high sell-through rate, chances are you're telling eBay, I'm filling my store with undesirable items. eBay rewards sales. eBay punishes slow sales. That's the best way I can say it. It punishes you in the algorithm, or it boosts you. So in order to get more sales and get that ball rolling, you really want to have sales, which I know is a catch-22. But in order to achieve that, you need to have high sell-through rate items. So as she said, focusing on that will really help you to start getting that snowball effect going, and getting boosted. But just keep that in mind. If you're having slow sales, the answer is not always to list more. Sometimes the answer is to, like she said, list a higher quality or a higher sell-through rate item.
I'm going to jump a second just because I saw a comment based on what we were just talking about. To find sell-through rate, you would search a very specific title in eBay. So say, for instance, you have Lucky Brand men's jeans. So Lucky Brand men's jeans, 221 original straight, 3630 dark blue, whatever. Get as specific as what you can. Then you're going to filter that to filter that to used or pre-owned. Get that number, so say it's 20. Then you're going to also filter or add another filter of sold and completed within, obviously, 90 days. That's what it filters to. And say that's 50. Well, you know, 20 to 50, there's more sold than what has been listed, and that's where you get your sell-through rate from.
It's a good sell-through.
If you're, ideally. If you're searching for something and you're getting, I don't know, 8 out of 10, 8 that are sold, but 10 are listed, that might be something you want to think about a little bit more. Not saying we'll never pick things up that are like that, but you also have to consider the factors as well. So if you're looking to do better for summer or getting higher sell-through rate items, I would look for things that are more like 20 to 40, or things that aren't just 30-30 flush, things that, you know, are significantly higher when you filter that completed and sold versus the used.
One of the best things you can do is the same process that she's talking about, is research before you go sourcing, so that you know what you're looking for before you go. So if you know you're going to hit the women's dress section, type in women's dresses, generically hit search, go to pre-owned, go to sold, and start looking at what's consistently selling, what brands are selling, what patterns.
Yep, we do that, and we set like a price. So like we try to always sell things that are like $35 to $40, so we won't filter to anything below $35. We set a price range too to help. So if you know you're looking at something $20 and more, because that's what your average sale price is, you can also filter to that as well. The other thing I was thinking about, and I might forget because I was in my own little la land, is not just thinking about filtering to the sold and the unsold, but you want to make sure that you, again, are checking like categories, like Cayley said, with, you know, you're going sourcing for X item. What does that look like? But you also have to think about going into summer slowdown that not only I guess you have to take in account the season change, I guess is what I'm going for as well. So thinking ahead versus thinking back. We're trying to avoid sweaters right now for the most part. If you're picking up a bunch of sweaters, which I'm not going to lie and say we're not picking up some still, you have to intend that you probably are going to sit on those. You have to keep that in mind for comping. You have to keep that in mind for pricing, because that's going to make a big difference as well. Seasonality does play a huge factor in
A lot
sales
goes
too.
into it. A lot goes into it.
Okay. Good morning from Washington State. First time watching live, so welcome to our lives. Great content. Thank you, ladies, for all your videos. You do a really great job. Thanks.
Thank you.
That was super helpful. Do leave your feedback in bulk too.
Kind of. We have a setting. I honestly haven't touched it in a while just because it's been set for so long, but I have a setting on eBay where if someone leaves me positive feedback, it automatically sends them my positive feedback for the buyer with like the same message that I tell it to. If they do not leave me positive feedback, I think you're playing with fire if you go back and try to leave feedback for somebody that has not left you positive feedback, because what if they had a bad experience? Maybe you're reminding them of that bad experience. And I mean, to me, we have so much feedback now that I don't really worry about getting feedback. So for us, just having the automation works, but there is a setting where you can automatically set that up. You can also automatically set it up if as soon as they buy it, you leave them positive feedback. However you want to do it. There's automated preferences, but I would recommend doing that. But that's just personally how we do it.
This is a Samsung tablet. I don't know exactly what it is, but Cayley bought it. It is fantastic. It is not...
It's a Microsoft Surface Pro. I can't remember the number.
It's great.
I think it's a 7.
It's fantastic. It does only runs on Wi-Fi though, which is probably one of my complaints, is that we can't take it in the car without like pairing it to one of our hotspots on our phones or so on and so forth. But it is really great, and I can even do eBay listings from it, which is great.
It works on this list perfectly. Works on it too. It's one of the few.
Yeah, there's certain tablets or certain things that you have to have. You can also have apps on it, and it also runs like a regular computer. I call it like...
It's a hybrid.
Yeah, I was going to call it a mixer, but clearly hybrid's a better term.
The one thing I will say is it is very powerful, so it works almost like a laptop, but it functions like a tablet. The only thing I will say, in case you're interested in getting this, is that you don't have like the Google Play Store, so certain apps that you might be used to being able to download, you cannot, because you're having to go through the Microsoft Store. And some apps are not available, so just keep that in mind. But like I could download Hulu or Netflix or something on there, but there's certain apps that I can't download on there.
Lisa put, I believe any item can sell if it's something someone wants, and maybe they don't realize it's something that they want. So relative keywords, descriptive words are number one. That is huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely huge. I think about, like, when I'm doing listings, I think of what I would search. So obviously, I know I want a dress. I know how long I want it to be. Maybe I know what color it is. Maybe I know how I want it to fit. Like, I try to think of that as I'm building a title on what I would be searching for if I was searching online. So, good comment. You may have already covered this before. Do you use eBay promotions?
I don't know if you mean like running a sale promotion or if you're talking about promoted listings, but I'll answer both for you quickly. We do not typically do promoted listings, which are a percentage of an ad rate that you can put on to boost your item in search. We typically do not do that. If an item's been sitting very long, like really old items, occasionally I'll apply like a 1 or 2% promoted listing rate just to shake things up a little bit. Promotions, we do promotions. We do like a shipping promotion where if someone buys 2 items or more, they get combined shipping. Or we will do, which normally I have these set up through the whole year, but I actually need to go back and do that. But you can set up like a sale for like a month's time or a whole year's time or whatever, and say if they buy 4 items or more, they get 50% off. Like, I'm just throwing it out there. But we do use promotions. I actually have a video of scheduling them for the entire year, one a month, which I need to actually go back and do. I'm going to write that down. But to answer both of those questions, we do not really use promoted listings. We do use promotions.
I'm gonna jump a question. Megan, you just left a comment. When you say tags, oh, just kidding. I'm in my own little line. I got it now. Monica came back and said eBay is her main platform. Cross list everything to Posh. The time doing that may not be worth it now. I would say, I don't know how long this has been going on, but I would say give it like a solid 3 months. And if you're still not seeing things on Poshmark, maybe you could consider not cross-posting anything new to Poshmark. We kind of went through that with Mercari for a while, where we cross-posted like everything to Mercari, and then it got to the point where the sales just weren't there for us anymore, and we decided to really focus on eBay and Poshmark instead. However, you also want to evaluate, what are you missing things in the listing? Are you making sure you're actually clicking on like the actual brand name? I know that's something that when we had people listing for us, they would just type in Tommy Bahama, but they weren't actually clicking into the brand. So those items were getting missed.
I want to know, my biggest question is, did you just start cross-listing on a Poshmark? Because it took me a very long time when I started on Poshmark to get footing on the platform. It took like months to start seeing consistent sales on there. So if you just started, I would give it some time, because it does take, it's not as quick as eBay because they don't have as many users. So you have to keep that in mind. I would if you just started cross posting, if it's only been a month or so, I would stick with it. Also, not trying to constantly promote stuff that we use, but one of the things that makes Poshmark so easy for us and seamless is we automate almost everything. So we're using List Perfectly to cross post. We use Posh VA to share. So you might consider doing that. They have a free trial run for 7 days. You might consider using Posh VA, links down below, and just try it, like, so you don't have to even think about it or worry about the sales, because it's free to list on Poshmark right now, so you might as well, is kind of where I'm at. But if it's frustrating for you, you might consider automating your sharing and sending offers process, and then just kind of forget about it for a while.
Somebody asked how often you share. So with Posh VA, you can only share so many listings a day. Right now, I think we're doing once a day? Or are we still at twice a day?
So the reason there's a limit on there is because if not, it'll flag your account on Poshmark. I think it's about like 7,500 shares. We are at
almost
5K listings, so it shares for us until it gets to that amount that I set for it, which I think I put at like 6,500 because I was just nervous about it. So it shares our closet about 1.5 times a day. But if you had less listings, which you probably do, 5K is a lot. Let's say you set your limit to 4,000, you have 500 listings, it would share your closet 8 times a day.
Yeah, so it just depends on how many items you actually have. But as of right now, our closet personally, because of listings, is just about 1.5.
We'd share it more if there weren't restrictions on Poshmark.
What made you know you were ready to go full time? We talked about that a couple times, but the biggest thing is selling more than what you're listing. Anytime you want to grow your business, regardless of whether that's like going full time or expanding, anytime you're looking at expanding or doing something else, you have to be selling more than what you're currently listing each day. But as far as full time specifically, run a few months, make sure it's consistent, maybe even like a year running it consistently, making sure you have enough to cover your bills, and then as long as you can do that, you could consider it.
I did make a video on that. I don't remember what it's titled, but if you go back in my videos, I do have a video about when to know when it's time to quit and go full time. But long story short, when you've made enough to pay your bills and you've done it for about 6 months consistently.
So and through says she knows a lady who can sell cropped and borrow sweaters, cardigans, items for $50+. She is able to sell low store brands for close to MSRP. I can't even give Elaine Fisher away. It's like so specific. Like we have really good luck with some specific things that like don't have a good sell-through rate. I'm gonna call this out, but one of those things is Banana Republic men's sweaters. I don't know why, but like I swear you could like throw it in the rain for an hour and bring it in and somebody would still buy it. Like I don't know why, but it just seems like it's a following that you have, and you might find that there's things that you do really well on and that you sell really well that other people just don't.
If I were you and you wanted to sell craft and borrow, I would study that person's listings, because I think a lot of the times the reason some people are able to sell certain brands and other people are not is because they've mastered that brand and they know what keywords work well with that brand. For instance, and I'll share this because it's not a secret, we've shared it before, but like a lot of people say they can't sell Knox Rose. It flies for us. But I know that Knox Rose is known for being a bohemian brand, and that's what people are looking for. So we know that if we list Knox Rose, we're definitely going to want to use the keywords bohemian or boho. And then there's a few other words that kind of go along with that. And we just know that that's how we're going to market it. That person selling craft and borrow might know the right keywords to put in to their title to find the buyer looking for craft and borrow, if that makes sense. So yeah, stuff can still sell with the right keywords, but that's a tricky game to play, I feel like.
How many items were listed before you hired part-time help? Love you guys.
Do you remember?
Thrifty Nancy. I don't know. Part-time. She had independent contractors before I started. She had 2 of them before I started working. I think when I started full-time with Cayley, we were at like 2,800.
Yeah, I think it was like 2,800.
Yeah, about 2,800 or just under. So we've about doubled listings since I started, which is not a representation either. You know, like I think people think you have to have X amount of listings to sell so many things. It's not about how many listings. I mean, we could still sell 140 items a day with 200 items in the closet, you know, or not a day, but 140 items a week or whatever that looked like. You can sell X amount with 100 in your closet or 1,000 in your closet or 1,500 in your closet. It just depends on what you actually have and you know what the sell-through rate on those items are. We have a lot of items in inventory, but I'm not even gonna lie, a lot of those items are things that have been here for a little while that we're working on discounting and moving out. So we probably will see a decrease in the amount of listings that we have until we kind of get back in that routine. We've mentioned our, I guess, discount or clearance strategy on how we're getting rid of older items. Once we get rid of all of those and we have that consistently trending, then we should see our listings stay pretty relative. But no, it doesn't matter how many items you have in your closet.
Yeah, I would say that I was at about 2,000 listings when I started hiring like intermittent independent contractors to help me photograph or something. But I was still doing almost everything on my own besides getting help with pictures or getting help with filling in drafts. I was still doing a lot of it myself. But the goal is, if I were to start all over again, the goal would not be to have a giant store or closet. It would be the goal is to have a small amount of items that sell immediately. So the goal would almost be to reset to 0 every day. You list it, you sell it, you're done. That would be the goal.
Well, and there's less cost. You don't have to have a storage space. You don't have to, have hundreds of totes or things like that. I mean, that's all things we have to think about as well, which is why we're trying to get to that in and out function. We ideally want things to sell as soon as they're listed or within a couple of days of listing so that we don't have those. So once we get rid of some of this other older stuff, we shall move on. Do you use tags? If so, where do you put them? Do you think they help? I mean, no, not really. I guess the keyword or the style profile.
Yeah, we don't, for the most part, we don't really use tags. I mean, if I'm filling out a listing, like on Poshmark, and I know that a tag will fill in there, I'll go ahead and fill it out just to be thorough. But in general, we just kind of use keywords in our description, and that works well for us.
Sorry, I was reading. I know eBay.
Your motorcycle or something. Hi everybody. Thank you for the likes. Thank you to everybody that's given us likes. We have 91 watching.
Oh, yay. So Char's style says sell-through rate refers to how much has sold on what was available to sell. So calculate that would be sold items divided by available to sell plus sold. You'll never get over 100%. Technically, yes and no. If you're right, if you would calculate it like that, sold items divided by what was available. Yes, my point is if you're searching used or pre-owned clothing and there's 20 listed, what you'd want to see is when you filter to also sold and completed, you'd want to see 40 out of 20. And no, that's not 40 sold out of the 20.
Mm-hmm.
It's just saying that in the last 90 days, 40 of the item that you're searching has sold, and that now there's only 20 listed, which means if you listed today, there is an active need or an active search for that item, you're more likely to sell them. So no, technically the 40 that have sold are not out of the 20 that are currently listed, but it does tell you that there is a good trending sell-through rate on those versus what's listed.
I think, and we've said this before, but everybody calculates sell-through rate differently, and that's why we describe how we calculate sell-through rate and what we consider to be 100%. But we always say 100% within 90 days. So we expect it to 100%. It should sell within 90 days. Also, I think you have your equation backwards because it should be your sold divided by your available, and that is how you would get an over 100% sell-through rate.
Yep. Monica says she's been cross-posting or cross-listing for at least a year. My store is pretty much automated. The only thing I do manual is offers. Thank you guys so much. Just give it some time. With this algorithm change on Poshmark, make sure that it's 100% not going to work before you really quit. I wouldn't say take your listings down. Maybe you kind of hover back a little bit and not cross-post everything. Maybe only do certain things. I don't know if you're using List Perfectly or how easy that would be for you to keep track of those items. But if it's something that you can easily keep track of, maybe go ahead and give that a shot as well. Just because I'd hate to see you throw a whole platform away if it was just a random fluke with algorithm.
Monica, I'm interested to know how many times a day do you share your closet? When I had a lower amount in Poshmark, when I started getting footing on that platform, I was sharing probably 3 times a day, and I was spreading out the shares. So hopefully that helps. Patchwork Vintage, thank you so much for the super chat. They said, you ladies are genuine and so helpful and informative to this community. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you so much.
I'll make Cayley buy me coffee later this week.
Maybe today. I need one.
Do you have a lot of products do you have to have, we talked about that. You don't have to have a lot of products to make more sales. It doesn't matter how many items you have in your store versus how many items you're selling. You could sell 5 items with 100 items. You could sell 5 items with 2,000 items. It just depends on what items you have and how you're listing them. Do you use a keyword finder or do you just kind of wing it? Well, we have our own keyword finder. When I say keyword finder, like she's my keyword finder, but sometimes we do wing it, just depending on what the item is.
Yeah, I mean, Megan, I'm not sure if you've seen the keyword strings document that's in the description of my videos. It's only $5 if you want to purchase it. But it is a group together string of like a bunch of keywords that we frequently use that's for sale. I also have a video on it. If you type in Cayley Elaine keyword strings, a video will pop up on how you can make your own. But we kind of have a copy and paste document essentially with our frequently used keywords. We use that and then we delete what's not necessary or we add what's missing. But we're just constantly learning, and I would just say over time we've become very knowledgeable about what keywords to use. We don't find a keyword finder. We just kind of look at the other sold listings essentially and kind of get an idea of the words that are frequently used that are being sold, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Only if they apply. Only if they apply.
I do that too with like filtering. So say like, I don't know, I have something that's very like unique, so I search it, I find 5 that are listed and sold, and maybe one's going for $20, one's for $150, one's for $70. I look, are they all the exact same item? How soon were these all sold? And what keywords did the person who sold for $150 or $70 use versus the one at $20? So I always try to kind of compare those as well. Obviously, you got to make sure they're the exact same and that you're not adding details that aren't there.
That'll
but
hinder.
But yeah,
your
if
listing.
you know that you can search, I don't know, I don't know, I don't have a word off the top of my head, but if you can search like a specific style, like glitter thread, or if it's something like a zipper that they put something about the zippers in there, whatever that is, make sure that you're doing that, because obviously that drew somebody to that listing, which
I'll give you an example of something we've tested before. Someone said that they sold a Knox Rose dress for $27. I just wanted to say that's awesome. We've been having really good luck with that brand. An example of that would be one day we were trying, this is a long time ago, but we were trying to figure out on the jeans that have that like undone hem.
Oh, yeah.
We were trying to figure out, should we call it undone hem or should we call it raw hem, I think it was.
Yeah.
And so we were like, well, they're essentially the same thing. Should we use the keyword undone hem, raw hem? I think we ended up using both eventually, but we wanted to know which keyword was better to use. So we just went and did a search in the sold listings and tried to see which one had the most results, and that's the one that we went with. So just test it out, see things like that. If you're looking up the brand Knox Rose, look up Bohemian, see how that changes the search. Other brands, I can't think of examples, but what?
I just told her we hit over
106.
100. She was like,
107, what is happening?
did you guys wake your kids up? Be honest. Were you knowing that I was going to ask for it? Because it makes my heart happy.
107 people here. Thank you guys so much for being here and supporting this channel. I hope that this is helpful. 108. It's going up. What's
My ultimate, 109. Okay, listen. Y'all are waking all your families up, but I am fine with it. I thrive when I get to watch that number increase, so it's great.
Thank you guys for the thumbs up too. We have 109 people watching and 72 likes. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you.
Honey Gigi says on eBay, would you wait for payment to be made before you ship the item? Yes, 100%. Because what happens if they don't buy it or they never pay for it? Now you've shipped an item out, you can't get it back. 100% always wait until that shipping is done. eBay does not start your shipping clock until it's formally been purchased. So wait.
I just have to say this too, because I feel like a lot of newer resellers might be watching and they're wondering about the awaiting payment. I just have to say that just because someone, it's annoying, but just because somebody doesn't pay for it right then does not mean that they're not going to pay for it later. We have a lot of buyers who commit to buying something and then don't pay for it until the next day. Sometimes that sale ends up still being legitimate, so I don't want everybody to listen and think that it's just a scam.
It's always bad.
Yeah, it's not always bad.
But there are some that that sit in waiting a payment for a little while, and then next thing you know, it gets canceled because they just never respond to it, or maybe they forgot about it. We've had some where people have been like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I put this in buying and I forgot about it, can I still purchase it? Things like that are going to happen. People get busy, but definitely make sure that they're paid before you're shipping anything.
Hi Abby, she said it's her first time making it to the live.
Welcome. Poshmark has been picking up for me, doing better there than on eBay. This weekend my Posh sales more than doubled, my eBay sales same with likes and watches.
Yeah,
that happens sometimes. We've had days where it just annihilates eBay, and I don't know why.
Guys, we are getting really close to having to get off here because we have a lot to do. So if you do have questions, drop them now. Put them in now.
Buyer bought 2 things with combined shipping for $42. She ended up opening a case, and now I have my first dispute. The reason is the buyer did not recognize the transaction. Is this some kind of scam?
So we have had quite a few of those come through lately. I think that sometimes people just honestly forget, or maybe they have a shared card with their husband or wife or something, and then they see a charge and they automatically dispute it with their credit card company or PayPal. The good news is that eBay and or Poshmark does everything behind the scenes for you. So I don't really think, unless it tells you to, that there's anything that you really need to do. And we have never had it come back where the dispute was not found in our favor. So they should come back after they see that they actually did indeed purchase it and resolve that case for you.
Do you guys have a video on eBay shipping fees?
Shipping fees? We have videos on eBay shipping. Fees are going to be different for everybody on eBay because if you have a top rated seller status, you get a small discount. Depending on whether you're shipping at a post office or you're shipping online, you get a commercial rate. So you'll have to expand on your question a little bit more, but we do have videos on shipping, eBay shipping, and I think that might be what you're talking about.
How much do you think the star rating affects sales? I had a lady give me less than 5 stars because the dress was small for her, even though the measurements were listed.
I don't think it matters that much unless you're getting like a bunch of 1 star. You know what I mean? Like
if you get a bunch,
yeah, over time it's not gonna matter. We get 1 star, we get 3 star. Most of them are 5 star, but occasionally we get some that dip a little bit. We don't even pay attention to it. We move on.
It's snowing in Cincinnati. Woo-hoo. I usually give the buyer 2 days, and on the 3rd day send a reminder, on the 4th day cancel. It's whatever your policy works, where that you do works for you is great. What is your return rate? We've talked about this before. It does seem to kind of ebb and flow. Sometimes we have like 15, and then other times we have none. It seems like we have a bunch, we resolve them, and then we get the return window closed, and it looks like empty and clean and nice, and then all of a sudden a bunch more come back in. Most of them are for fit.
There's a spot you can go to on like your eBay. I think he or she is referring to. There's a spot you can go on eBay to see your return rate. I don't know that exact number right now. It's somewhere, maybe try performance, seller level.
She's pushing all the buttons. Yep. 5.83%, 46 of 789 transactions. That's actually not that bad. Like, I feel like we get so much stuff back sometimes that
it's not enough that I'm still top rated seller. So that's all I'll say. But yeah,
it does happen though, and it does seem to come in chunks for some reason. Yeah. I don't know why, but it does happen. I think the biggest thing is that when you are doing returns, is that you're making sure that the returns are labeled correctly. So making sure that they're saying it just didn't fit, and that it's not something that's coming kind of docking against you because it wasn't as listed, or so on and so forth.
I think we usually hover around 4%, but that's just a guess from the several times I've checked it.
Daily or weekly pay, and why? Just trying to figure out my pay schedule.
Honestly, it's intermittent. I would say more daily than weekly. And that's just because I don't like money sitting in the platforms. Like Poshmark, I don't always go in every day, but like every other day when I think about it, I'll go and I'll redeem my balance. And then eBay, I have it automatically set to every single day to send. And I do that because it's like, why not? Why would I leave it sitting in eBay? I just feel like that's leaving it for things to go wrong. So personally, it's about daily for me. That's just a personal choice.
What are your thoughts on the new share app Flips?
Haven't looked into it yet.
What scale do you recommend for weighing packages? Is that in your links?
It might be in the links. I think it's just an Accutech, Accutech. I think that's right. It's just one of the like top rated, cheaper ones on Amazon. I've had them for a while. Every time we get a new person and we need a new scale, I buy the same one. So
I would get one that you can plug in and that stays on. Make sure it stays on, because if you have to keep pushing the power button nonstop, it's really annoying.
I think the link to the shipping scale is down below in the description for the Accutech one.
Anaheim, California. Thank you. Mine just hit 4 and was wondering, what is BC? Oh, return rate. Okay. Yeah. I was like, what? I'm new to Poshmark. How does the Posher VA work? Also, being new, should I start using it? Thanks.
So Posher VA is an extension, and what it does is it basically performs actions for you while you're logged into Poshmark. You can tell it to share your closet. You can tell it to send offers. I think you can even tell it to do follows or to like drop prices for you. But essentially you tell it the commands you want it to do and then you let it run in the background. It is super easy to use. They're very transparent about how it all works. And honestly, without having to read a manual or anything, I figured it out pretty quickly. Do I recommend you use it? I mean, I kind of recommend everybody at least give it a trial period because they have a free 7-day trial, and then there's a coupon code in the description as well with that link for a discounted rate. So I would say at least try the free trial period. They don't even ask for a credit card. At least they didn't last time I checked. And so you can use it without even putting in your payment information. Just try it out and see if it works for you. I love it because even with the paid version of it, I haven't checked in a while, but I think it's only like $20 or $25 a month for a Posture VA. That is ridiculously cheap. And to me, it's like if it even gets you one sale, you've paid for the service. So I would say at least try the trial period and see how it works for you. I would say if you're going to do the trial, make sure you take full advantage of it. Set your shares for every day and make a schedule for it so you don't have to keep going in every day. And then also set your offers to run automatically in the background and then just let the sales roll in.
That is the last question, other than have you thought of using Flip? So we're going to call questions there for the day.
I've seen a lot more on Flip than I have of the other ones somebody mentioned. But to be honest, guys, all this stuff like goes on social media, or I see thumbnails about it or whatever. And at this point that we're at in this business, we just don't have any time for distractions. Like, I don't even have time to click onto a Flip video and learn about it because I know we're not going to start using it anytime soon. We're really heavily focused on eBay and Poshmark right now, and our next thing that we're going to tackle is going to be Mercari. So we don't really, we're putting blinders on, I guess. So I don't know enough about it to be able to speak on it. I see a lot of new like cross-posting apps or websites. I see a lot of new just platforms in general, and that's just noise to me right now because I'm just so heavily focused on the things that we're currently involved in that I can't think about even using it.
I would say think of this the same way we talked about sourcing earlier. So if you're starting out with something, you want to really master that category. We really want to master each platform. Know that we're good on it. Know that we've got every opportunity, every kink worked out, everything's going well. And then if we get good, so like I said, we've kind of gotten to that point with eBay and Poshmark. Now we'll eventually start adding on Mercari again. I'm not saying don't be aware of what's out there the same way as like occasionally kind of scrolling through or walking through another category for a quick look on things, but wait before you fully go in and dive into anything else new. Same thing kind of goes with the platforms. So be aware of what's out there, but don't jump in head first without knowing what you're getting into. So
all right, I think we've hit the end. We're an hour and 7 minutes. So thank you guys. Thank you everybody that said have a great week.
Yes, thank you for all the likes. We hit 97. So if you want to just take another second and add me 3 more likes, you would make my whole day. And I don't know, I'll tell you some fun facts about me on Friday if you can get to 100 98? Before we end this video. Guys, I will think of 3 fun facts for each one of the random
99
likes. We got 1 more to go. Come on, somebody do it. Woo!
Okay, ending it there.
Have a good evening or a good week. See you guys Friday.